Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Trainwreck Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a nice evening, and I hope you had a good week. My name is Cassandra, and I am with Pecan Porch Boutique. And tonight we are going to continue our work on this beautiful buffet. Hey Donna, how are you? Welcome. So I just kind of want to start out by letting you guys know kind of what I've done since we met last week and kind of what we're going to do tonight. So thank you guys for joining. So last week we started work on this beautiful buffet, which belongs to my sister, Christy. And I have a new camera angle tonight, you guys. So maybe it kind of brings you in a little bit closer. So hopefully you guys can see a little bit better. But my camera is always rigged somehow. So, you know, if it falls, well, yeah, I'll just pick it up and we'll keep on going. But tonight we're going to continue working on this beautiful buffet. So what have I done since the last time we met? Well, since the last time, I put on the additional peacock here on this door. So now you can see we have two peacocks, one on each door. And what else did I do? I also, I think I told you guys last time, my intention was to use this Iron Orchid Design lock and key mold. Hi Dorothy, how are you? Oh, thank you. So I did that. So I used this particular mold right here to put the molds here on each side of the door, right here. And you know, this mold is really meant to be one of those that has the little key that you stick in there. But you know, I overlooked that. And I just, so I had these little knobs here, and I used two of them to attach to my little mold. And they worked out pretty good, I think. And what I did was I used a combination of like dark and decrepit and some of the what did I use? I used dark and decrepit, and I used the actual mint chip that I was using for the base to do this mold with. And I also put on a little bit of golden ticket to give it this kind of an aged bronze look that I was kind of going for here on the doors. So I think those came out really good. Also what I did was I went ahead and I did the imprint like we did last time. I used the Kindest Regards mold, and I did the imprint around the drawers. And then I also, if you guys can see right here, I did some raised stenciling with some peacock feathers. So that is what I have done so far. So what we're going to do tonight to kind of get this moving and you know, finish this up is I am going to show you guys how I did the peacock feathers. I'm going to put a couple of them over here on this side, and then we are going to do some more iron on right here on these drawers. So I'll show you guys what I had left. So remember, I used the Peacock Ephemera, and this is the Roycycle Decoupage papers. And so this is what I had left from each side, along with, there was also a piece here on this side. So I had those left from each of the papers. And of course, that's a lot. You know, I can keep that and do something else with the feathers. So that is what I had left. So my intention is to use the paper that I had left to frame out these drawers with, kind of like I did over here with the peacock. And I think that's going to look really well. So we'll do that tonight too. But, oh, and another thing that I did, you guys, I want to show you. So these are the knobs that actually came on this piece, and I didn't like them. I don't like them at all. But I didn't have any other knobs. So Hey Marilyn, how are you? I didn't have any other knobs, so I kind of made my own. So what I did was I took this knob and I created this out of this. So I kind of made a custom little knob to kind of match this little flower knob here that I had with some IOD clay. What I did was I took the smallest flower from the He Loves Me mold and some clay, and I put it on top here, and then I kind of aged it with some Dark and Decrepit and some Golden Ticket. So I did that for each of these 3 knobs here, and I thought they came out pretty good. So those are going to be the knobs that I'm going to use for each of these 3 drawers. But I think I want to start tonight is I want to start by showing you guys how I got a raised stencil over here on how I got this raised stencil and how we're going to put that over here on this side. And so I had this little peacock feather stencil, and it came on a longer sheet, and I just cut it off, you know, to what I can use. And so, so I'm going to show you guys how to do a raised stencil using salt wash. And you guys have seen me use salt wash before on the little boho dresser. So that's where we're going to start. So, let me pull my table out so you guys can see kind of what I'm doing. And scoot my camera back a little. So hold on, you guys. Sorry for the bouncing. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to use my salt wash. It's a paint additive, and it's used to create texture. So I'm going to use that to create the texture for my raised stencil. So I'm going to start by using my base color, which is the mint chip. Just going to add a little. I don't need that much. So I just added a little mint chip in here. Can you see that? Mint chip. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of the salt wash. And I'm just going to stir. If I can not choke on it, I'm going to stir that up. And this gives you, this makes your paint, I just mixed it with the paint, and this makes your paint thick so that you can have a little bit of texture, and it's just going to be really good for us to get that that little bit of a raised stencil that we're looking for. As you can see how that is on my stick so it doesn't fall off. That's the consistency that you want with the salt wash. Okay, so then I'm going to take my feather, and let's see if I can, I'm going to pull you guys in so maybe you can see a little bit better. So we're going to go again. Sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy. There we go. Okay, so, and right here on this cabinet, somebody kind of let some paint drip. So this texture that I'm putting on with this little stencil is going to kind of camouflage that, and you won't even be able to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of situate my stencil where I want it. And get all of my feathers in line. And I put a little bit of tape on just to hold it. There's also a stencil adhesive that you can use to spray on the back of your stencil, and it will stick there. But I just used a little bit of tape. So now I'm going to take my salt wash. Hopefully I mixed up enough just for this one application. I'll have to mix some more. So I'm going to take my salt wash and my little trowel. Just going to put it on there like this. And then I'm going to go over my stencil with it. This is pretty simple to do, and it really gives you a good effect. And the reason why I'm going over it with my base color first, which was mint chip. And then I'm going to run just a light, a really light dry brush of some of the other colors that I used on top of that. So this is mint chip mixed with salt wash. Then I'm just going to remove my stencil. And I have a little bit of a raised stencil there. So I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to try to bring you in a little bit closer so maybe you can see that. Kind of angle you down a little bit. And I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it's right here. And it's a little bit of a raised stencil. It's actually pretty good little raised image that I have right there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple more. And then we're going to move on to continuing some more decoupage. So that is how you get the, I mean, and there are other ways too, you guys, that you can create the raised stencil look. You can use the joint compound that you use for walls. You can use that. You can use, there are some actual other texture mediums out there that you can use to make raised stencils, but they just give a really cool effect to your piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do, I have 3 on that side. I think I'm just gonna do 2 on this side, but I'm gonna turn it upside down. So I'm gonna give the feathers a little bit of different direction here. And just use my tape to keep it on as best I can. And then again, I'm going to take my salt wash on my little spatula, scoop it up. It really doesn't take much at all. And can you guys see? Yeah. So I'm just going to spread it on. Making sure I get every little bit of the stencil. And it's okay because I use the, because I'm using my base coat, you know, if I go off the stencil, it's okay because it's the same color as my background. Okay, so I got all my stencil filled. Then I'm just going to remove the tape and remove my stencil. So there we go. So you guys can't really see that. I'll post a picture once we're off. But so now I have 2 raised stencils on this side. So while that dries, we are going to move on. And we're going to continue with our decoupage. So move out a little bit. Try to stop the shaking. Okay. So again, this is kind of what I had left over from one of the peacocks. I actually had this left over on each side. But this is kind of what I had left over. So, so we're going to go ahead and place this here. And I'm going to do the same tattered edge method that I did with the peacock. So I'm just going to put this here and just kind of, so you can see it actually fits really good. It comes all the way down past this bottom drawer. And I'm actually not going to use it all because I'm going to do the tattered edge. So I'm just going to make a little slit here so I know where to cut and make one here. And so then what I'll do, scoot my camera back so you guys can see me a little bit better. So now that I made my little cuts, I'm just going to cut straight across. And it's okay if I don't get it straight, because again, I'm going to make the tattered edge. Anyway, so it doesn't matter whether I get it straight or not. So this will be for the top drawer. And I'll put that there. And then I'll cut the second one. And I'm gonna tell you guys, one thing I realized when I was decoupaging, we used the iron-on method last time. So when I was using the iron-on method last time, I realized something that maybe I just missed. But that's the second piece. And then this will be the third piece. But what I realized is when I was doing the iron-on method, so you put, hi Anna, how are you? So again, you put down your medium and you let it dry, and then you put down another coat and you let it dry, at least 2 coats of whatever top coat that you're going to be using. And then once you iron on your image, then you put also some of that same top coat over the top of your image. And so, but when you do that, it's going to bubble up a little bit, you know, it's going to wrinkle up some. And so what I did was, while it was wet, I actually took my parchment paper and put it over it, even though it was wet, and I went ahead and ironed it. So, and that worked fine. It got all of the wrinkles out. So there's no wrinkles in there at all. So you can actually iron it on while it's wet, as long as you're using the parchment paper, of course. You know, that's your protection between your iron and your image. So I didn't know that. So that's something that I found out by accident, but I'm pretty sure somebody else had already found that out. But you know me, I'm a late bloomer. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my iron on so it can be getting hot. And then I'm gonna use my, we're gonna use the method that we learned last time. Yeah, it dried it, Anna. So yeah, so you can actually put the medium on there, leave it wet, and then put your parchment paper over that and actually iron it on. It worked fine. So my medium was wet, so but it smoothed it out and got all the wrinkles out. So so you can do it wet or dry, I think. And I think I saw someone else do that, or heard that heard about someone else doing it, but it was the first time that I'd done it. Okay, so I'm gonna take my image here, and this is the water method for getting a tattered edge. Can you guys see? Let's see. Put your back. Let's see. There we go. So I'm just gonna make myself another tattered edge here. With the water. This is just a really good way to get, you know, that organic edge. To do, crashing off my table. So then I'll just tear. You guys have seen me do this before. And while I'm doing this, you guys, I want to say that, I don't know why they cut it. I think I just lost connection for a second. But I hope Dorothy is still on here. Because one of the things that, I don't know if you guys know about my, my public group on Facebook. It's called Porch Paint and Poly Pop. And so whenever you guys send me a name for a piece and you win, I send you guys a little prize. And in the prize, it contains some samples of things that we've used on that piece, or it just contains some, you know, just some things that you can use to create. And so, but I was so impressed by Dorothy's, the picture that she posted over on my group page, that she used some of the things that I sent to her for naming Crackling Fern to create this board that she did. So if you guys are not a part of that group, please go over there and join and take a look at her, take a look at that picture that she posted. She added some of the things that she got from me along with some other things and created this beautiful board. It was just gorgeous. And so I was inspired by that. So for what I'm gonna do from now on for the winner of the naming contest is I'm gonna send you guys some little inspirational pieces to kind of get your, just to kind of get your creative juices flowing, and so that you can add that to something else and create something with it. It doesn't have to be, even anything that you're thinking about. Just use it to, to start creating something with it. However you want to use it. Put it with something else and create. So a Bud and Bloom bag. So if you win the naming contest, you will get a Bud and Bloom bag, so that you can. So anyway, yeah. So you guys go over and take a look at that. Go over to my page. It's called Porch Paint and Poly Pop. Take a look at the post that Dorothy put on there. It is just beautiful. I mean, I love it. And join the group. And when you do something creative, post it on there. We'd love to see it. Because, sometimes I think, we think that we don't have any talent, but really we do. Everybody has some talent. And the more you do something, the better you get. Yeah, Anna, Dorothy is extremely talented. Okay, so now, I'm just gonna put this here like this, and it's still kind of a bit long down here. I'm gonna tear a little bit more of that off. That fits pretty good, and we're gonna go ahead and start to iron this on. And again, I'm trying to iron it on the vertical, so. And I put this base coat on several days ago, so let's see if we can heat it up again and keep moving with our iron on. So here we go. Put that there. Get it where I want it. My iron should be pretty hot. Can you guys see me? See if we can heat up this. Heat up our top coat again. And again, I put this top coat on, it's been several days ago. And again, I found one of the things, for me, and the biggest challenge, because I'm one of those, but it's starting to adhere. Yay. I'm one of those, I'm gonna move you guys in a little bit. I'm one of those instant gratification people, but honestly, when you're using the iron-on method, it really does take a little bit of time to really get it adhered down. And the better you get it adhered to your surface, when you go back and put the top coat on, the less you will, the less it'll bubble up and pull up. So here we go. We're gonna keep on ironing, y'all. See if you guys can see me. And another key I think to iron on is that the iron needs to be really, really hot. Because the hotter the iron, the quicker it's going to, or the better it's going to heat up that top coat that you already have down. So that's definitely not on there as much as I'd like it to be, but I'll go back and I will do more ironing on there. Donna asked the question, could you just use adhesive instead of ironing? Yeah, definitely. You can use the top coat method. And Donna, that is basically where you put down the top coat, and while it's wet, you actually lay your paper down and smooth it out. Yeah, definitely. You don't have to iron. You can just use the top coat method. The iron-on method is just one of the methods that you can use to decoupage. And I think I talked about it in our last, in one of our lives, where I really tend to like the top coat method, better, actually, than I like the iron-on method. So yeah, definitely. Okay, now let's see. This is going to be my second sheet. It's going to go right here. Just like this. And so I'll go ahead and get my tattered edge going. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about tonight? Yeah, I had to make notes. I can't remember nothing no more. Let's see. Yeah, I talked about the little gift bag. Oh, one of the other things that I want to talk about is, so I think I'm going to, so I go live every Wednesday night. You guys know, with Trainwreck Wednesday, because you guys are here with me. Let me move you back some so you can see what I'm doing. So, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change up a little bit. I'm gonna continue to go live on Wednesday nights, but rather than doing Trainwreck Wednesday every month, every Wednesday night, because I typically use, and really y'all, painting furniture is like my first love. And so I reserved Trainwreck Wednesday for painting furniture. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to alternate the Wednesdays. And so on the opposite Wednesday of Trainwreck Wednesday, I want to do some smaller items, because there's so many really neat things you can do with these products to make smalls, and so many creatives out there that are so good at making smalls. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that's not my strong suit, because again, I enjoy painting furniture, but I wanna use some of these, and I want to show you guys how you can use these products to actually make really cute things for your home, or if you're thinking about selling them, you can make things for your shop or your booth or your business if you have one. And so that's what I think I'm gonna do. So next Wednesday, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna call that Wednesday, but next Wednesday we're gonna actually do, I'm gonna show you guys something kind of small that we can create. What happened to my water? Got dry on one end. that we can create out of some of these products. The DIY paint, the IOD molds and transfers, so many things that you can use those for. So that you can try your hand at it. Okay, so I got that tattered. You guys can see that. Tattered the eggs. Let's see if I took enough off. So I think I need a little bit more. So I want to kind of keep that. Remember the paint imprint that we did last time? So I kind of want that to show around the edge. So I don't really want the paper to cover it up. Okay. That's pretty good. It's still just a little more than I want. So I'm just going to take a little bit more off of it. This is a pretty quick process. It doesn't really take long to run some water across the edge and peel off. And of course, you don't have to necessarily do a tattered edge. You know, sometimes if I'm doing a piece where the paper goes all the way over to the end, I just take my sanding block and I use it to shred it off, which gives me a straight edge. Let's see. Dorothy, what did you say? I learned something new from all you creators. Dorothy, I do too, actually. I learned something from, you know, that's why I continue to watch other creatives as well, because I continue to learn too. Okay, all right, let's see. This should work. There we go. That's good. So I'm kind of trying to line it up with my feathers. My other feathers here. And my bird cage. I'm going to start on this side. Bring you guys in some now. Keep having to move the camera so you guys can see a little bit better. Just kind of line it up a little bit. So this has definitely been a peacock theme for sure. We got all things peacock. But I think it's turning out pretty good. And again, it doesn't matter what iron you use. I mean, you can use the iron that you have in your house. Just make sure that you have it set on the hottest setting. And no steam. And you know, I honestly don't know why no steam. You know, you would think that steam would help it, but no steam. And again, maybe not wax paper. And just take your time. Don't rush it. And smooth it on. There we go. That's the second one. All right. We have one more to do. And this is going to be the bottom piece. Here. And that's one of the reasons why y'all want to make sure you keep all of your scraps, because your scraps come in handy. I mean, you can do a whole nother project. And y'all, I really hope to get my new papers in either toward the end of this week or next week, so that I can show you guys the new designs too. I think there's a couple of us still waiting to get the new papers, but a lot of the retailers already have them. But it's gonna be like Christmas to me. I'm gonna be jumping for joy. Let's see. Check and see if we have a question. Hi, Angela. Dorothy says, I have about 5 different projects started today, but all of them are turning out like train wreck, like a train wreck. Most likely, see, I can't see. Okay, there we go. Most likely, she says, is going to paint over them. Well, you know, Dorothy, you know, that's what happens sometimes. I mean, I have the brightest ideas. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's really gonna work. And then I'll be like, I don't like that at all. But guess what? In the world of creating, our saying is, it's only paint. So if you don't like it, just start over. Paint over it. And move on. Remember in school when they used to tell us, don't cry over spilled milk? Well, don't cry over wet paint. Just paint right over it and keep on moving. Sometimes it takes a while to get a good idea. And for me, you know, like every piece that I do is different, and so every idea that I have for that piece is different than the next piece. And so, you know, sometimes you just kind of have to sit with it. And hey, Sonia, glad you're here. Sometimes you just have to sit with the piece for a minute and kind of see which way it wants you to take it. So, you know, it's just paint though. But the only way to, really the only way, in my opinion, to keep going is just to say to yourself, you know, it's only paint. If I mess it up, I'm just gonna paint over it. Of course, nobody wants to have to do something again, but you know, it is only paint, y'all. That is it. All right, so this is our last piece here for the bottom. See if I got it right. I think for the most part I did on the first try. Okay, so go ahead and iron that one on. That'll be our last iron on. I'll move you guys in a little bit. This is wet, so I'm going to go ahead and tear it off. And again, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, it really is a little bit more difficult to iron on the vertical. Really, you know, if you have a flat surface and it's laying down, it's a lot easier to do the iron on. Just because I'm working against gravity, and because y'all, I'm old and I have to bend my back. But it's working. So yeah, it would definitely be easier if this were laying flat. Or if I had pulled the drawers out maybe and and put them on the floor first, it would have been easier. But this is Trainwreck Wednesday, and you know, I have to push the envelope. So, but we're getting there. And again, go slow, just take your time. And when I'm off camera, I'll actually go back on and really put some more heat on this and iron it down a little bit better. But for now, we're just going to get through the iron-on process. Okay, there we go. So, we have used, can you guys see that? So we have used all of our, or the majority of that peacock paper from one of the papers. We've used the majority of that paper. So I think that looks pretty good. So what I'll do is kind of the same thing that I did here, is I'll go around the edge and I'll kind of do a little bit of shading around here just to kind of blend in this little tattered edge here. And you can still see the paint imprint that we did around here to keep moving. So, and our raised stencils are dry on this side. But again, I want to show you guys, again, the little knobs that I think are going to go really pretty on here. And you can save a lot of money just by doing your own knobs. So again, this was the knobs that came on it, which I really didn't think fit the piece anyway. But these were the knobs that came on it. And I'm all about trying to save knobs because I haven't got a chance to go to Hobby Lobby, y'all. And I love Hobby Lobby knobs, especially on half price day. So what I did was I took this little knob here and I sanded it down a little bit because it's kind of shiny. And then I put some paint on it. And then I added a little bit of golden ticket, a little bit of dark and decrepit, and I added the tiniest flower from the He Loves Me mold. And I came up with these little bitty, kind of really pretty little flowery knobs. And each one of them is just a tad bit different, but I think they're gonna go pretty right here on this paper. On each of these drawers, I have 3 of them. So that's one way for you to, you know, if you have some old knobs around, laying around the house that you don't like anymore, you can spruce those up with some of the products. So, okay. So let's see what kind of time. See what kind of time we have. About 15 minutes. So I want to show you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my iron off because I'll probably drag it down on me and have 3rd-degree burns before this show is over. This iron gets hot. Even the little knob. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so our stencils over here are dry. Bring you guys in again. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but right here our stencils are dry. Our little raised stencils here. And I started out, I did them in the mint chip, the base coat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple of the colors that kind of match the peacock and that we used in this blending process here, which was the Sea Glass and the Salty Kiss. And I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a dry brush over the stencils so that you guys can see those pop out. It's kind of like I did on the other side. So I'm just going to take some Sea Glass and some Salty Kiss and put them on my plate here. Salty Kiss, Sea Glass. just gonna put them on a plate. I'll stand up. You guys won't be able to see me, but you can hear me. And I thought I chose these colors because they went so well with the, with my peacock paper. So I'm going to take just a kind of a small brush. This is just kind of a medium little art brush here. I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to start out with my Salty Kiss. And this is just kind of almost a dry brush. I'm not really putting much on my brush at all. And I'm going to take it and I'm just going to run it over my stencil. Like that. Not really paying any attention to, you know, it getting outside. But that kind of, can you guys see that? That shows up a little bit better now. Bring you in a little bit so you can see it. So that shows up, you can see the stencil just a little bit better. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of a dry brush. I'm just really putting a little bit of paint on my brush and brushing it over the stencil. Now I know you're saying, well, Cassandra, that's all, like, I mean, you're not going to leave it like that, are you, girl? No, I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm actually going to go back then once this dries with my mint chip because it's the background, and then I can go over it with my mint chip just really lightly, and it'll take away, you know, the paint that's kind of out of the lines there. And I thought that by doing these raised stencils, it was also a good opportunity for me to add in just a little bit of the yellow that's in the peacock here and here. So I got some of this, my Queen Bee, and I'm going to use a little bit of that too. Just a little. Just to bring in a little yellow. And I don't think my sister really likes yellow that much. But just to, you know, to bring in the paper a little bit more. So I'm taking a little bit. I'm going back in. I'm using the same brush. Just a little on my brush. Hey, Royce, how are you? Just a little on my brush of the sea glass. And then I'll go over my stencil again. Really dry, just a little dry brush. Nothing much at all. I'll do the last one. You can put as much or as little as you want. Then I'll go with my Queen Bee. I'm just going to put my Queen Bee kind of right in the middle. Right in there. Kind of middle of the peacock feather. Kind of like it is here. And y'all can see I put way too much paint on here. I didn't nearly need that much. So, can you guys see that? So, it kind of showed up a little bit better. So, what I'll do is I'll let that dry now. And then I'll come back with my base coat of mint chip. And I'll clean all that up with a small brush. I'll just go in and take a lot of that out. And I'll keep going back and forth with my colors until I kind of get it the way I want it. And then I'll seal over the top of it. And that's all there is to it. But salt wash is really a good way to get some texture on your pieces. And it makes really good for raised stencils. So there you have it. Now, before we go, though, you guys, I want to show you guys one other thing. So, go back over here. I'm moving you guys all around tonight. But if y'all see this setup, if y'all want to see this setup I got, y'all be like, ooh, that child is country. Because the way I got this camera set up, it don't even make no sense. Okay. So, I also did this, did this little, let's see if I can get it close. There, that's a little bit better. I also did this little peacock. And so what I did was I took some of the leftover paper from the Peacock Ephemera decoupage paper, and I decoupaged this little peacock. And so he's going to go, or he or she, whichever, is going to go on the side of the buffet. So on each side I'll have one. So they're actually like this. They're corrugated cardboard. They're like, I think this one's like 6 inches. And you can see they're corrugated in the middle there. And so I took this little peacock and I did some of the matching piece of the decoupage paper to decoupage him. And so now he will coordinate with this whole piece, and I'm going to put him on the sides of the piece. So, you know, just a little something unexpected. And these little cardboard cutouts, they kind of give a bit of a 3D effect to your piece. So this is actually the piece of the decoupage paper that was left over, and I used that to decoupage this little peacock. And then if you can see right here, I took my little Craquelure stamp and I stamped him with some of the colors that we have on the also on this buffet. So now he is facing this way. So when I do the other peacock, I want to make sure that he faces that way. So one facing one way and then one facing the other way. And then I'm going to use them to put on each side of So let's see, we have about 10 minutes. So let me see if I can maybe kind of get started on this one. So I kind of, you know, it's just kind of the same way as would you're going to decoupage anything, except you have to remember that these are cardboard, so they're not going to take a whole lot of water. So I'm just going to take my mint chip, put a little bit down here on the board that I have on my table. Then I'm going to take my brush. This brush will do. This little brush here. I'm just going to take it and I'll make sure that I got him facing right. Let's see. This is the side that I want to paint so that they can go opposite like that. Like this. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to put some paint on him. You guys see that? Just as I would any other piece, except I'm not putting a whole lot at all. So it will not take long for him to dry. Because I'm not putting that much. And it doesn't take that much. But, you know, it's just a great embellishment to what you already, you know. So I call these, you guys, I call these my my porch pair-ups. And the reason why I call them pair-ups is because you can pair them with some of the projects that you're doing, you know. And I have quite a few on my website. So the peacock is just one of them. So, and again, you guys can find everything that I'm using tonight. You can find that on my website at pecanporchboutique.com. Okay, so there we go. He's painted. One of the things that I want to make sure that I do, though, is I want to get inside the little corrugated part, because that's the side you'll see. You will definitely see that. And if you don't paint, add some paint inside there, it's going to look like cardboard, because it's cardboard, y'all. So I'm just going to stipple inside him. And again, these are just going to give my piece just a little bit of an added, little added interest and a little added originality, I think. You guys see? So I'm just I'm just painting the inside of the corrugated piece. I'm trying not to go over an hour, really, because, y'all, I'm from the country, and you know country folk like to talk. So I'll get to talking and rambling, and before you know it, it'll be an hour and 10 minutes, and all y'all will be gone, and I'll still be talking. But, yeah, so I'm just getting inside there. And so now I've got him painted. I've got the corrugated in between there painted, all painted. And as I was painting that, that's how quick, you know, I was using so little paint. It didn't take but a minute for it to dry. And so I'm just gonna use the same top coat that I used before, and this is my go-to. This is my polyacrylic in matte finish. Matte is my favorite, so clean my brush off a little. Then I'll take a little bit of my matte finish, and then I'm going to go over him. Again, he is cardboard, so you don't want to over wet him, but you want to make sure you get enough on there, because we're going to decoupage him. We're not going to iron on. I don't know what that'll do. We're just going to get him full decoupage medium or top coat, what I'm using for my decoupage medium. And then I'm going to take my leftover paper. I'm just going to lay it down on him. Smooth it out. Smooth out some of the wrinkles. And then I'm going to go back. So now I got this laying on him. You can still see his shape kind of underneath there. But I'm going to go back with a little more of my decoupage medium. Just as if I'm decoupaging anything else. I'm going to go over him. I'm getting a few wrinkles, but that's okay. Once the paper dries, they will disappear. So I'm going over him just like I would any other and I'm kind of making sure that I kind of take my my medium out to the sides, because I'm gonna have to tear it off. So if it's wet with my medium, it makes it easier for me to tear off. Okay, so now I have him decoupaged. I'm just gonna take my hand and just start to peel away and follow the lines. And take off the excess. You guys see that? And I guess you could use scissors to Oh, hey, Sonia. Thank you. Yeah, please watch the replay. I know a lot of times people aren't able to catch the live, so yeah, watch the replay. That is absolutely fine. Just keep peeling it off. around the edges. These are really fun to play with. There we go. So now we have our little decoupage peacock. And so then what I do for these little frayed edges around the around him is I just take my brush and a little more of the medium, and I just kind of go back and start to lay those down. Just adding a little medium on for those parts that are sticking out. So anyway, I just think that these are a really good way to just add some interest to your pieces. You know, here at Pecan Porch, you know, we like being unique, so it's just a unique way to add a little bit of interest. Kind of gives you a little bit of a 3D raised feature. So I'm just going all around him with a little bit of a little more of the top coat that I used, and I'm going around the edges, and I'm just kind of laying down some of the edges that are still sticking out. There we go. And there you have it. So see, that doesn't take long at all. And now we have our little decoupage peacock. So with some of the same papers that that was left over, so it really coordinates with the buffet. So I'm gonna put one on each side. You know, just kind of an unexpected place. You wouldn't find this on, you know, that you wouldn't normally find on a piece. And you know, sometimes people forget about the sides of pieces and pieces that, you know, maybe aren't necessarily seen all day or are seen on a regular basis. So yeah, so there you go. So I'll take, once this dries, I'll take my Crackle stamp again, and I'll make a little bit of the crackle that you see on here. I'll put it on him. And you know, these are really fun little things just to add to your pieces. So you guys can find these, this peacock and several more of my, what I call my porch pair-ups, on my website under art enhancements. So go take a look. You know, just something fun to do. You don't necessarily have to decoupage them, but I use it to kind of pair up. If I'm decoupaging something, I use the leftover decoupage paper to kind of pair these up with the decoupage paper that I use. So so I happen to have a peacock, and I'm doing peacock paper. So what a great way to add some interest to your piece, right? So yeah, so there you go. So yeah, so I think that's it, you guys. I'm a little bit over. Thank you guys for watching me. So we are well on our way to finishing this buffet. Once I will finish up these little over here on this side. I'll finish up the raised stencils. I'll make sure those are down really good, and I'll go around and I will do a little bit of shading around the edge, and then I will do my favorite Dark and Decrepit on the top, and then we will be finished with this piece. So but you guys know what comes next, right? We need a name. So be thinking. We're gonna need a name. So you guys be thinking of a name. And so yeah, so next Wednesday, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start something new, and I'm gonna have a project for a smaller piece, to kind of really highlight some of these products that I use, so that you guys can see some of the things that you can use to create these. I think sometimes when I'm doing bigger pieces of furniture, I really do get to highlight the paint, which I love, which is great. But a lot of times I may not get to highlight some of the other things, like the IOD transfers and the clay and the molds and you know, some of these little pieces like this. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna start doing that opposite Wednesdays. So we'll continue to have Train Wreck Wednesdays, and that'll be for our furniture. But then I'm gonna try to think of a name for the opposite Wednesday, and we'll do some smaller pieces. So again, thank you guys for joining me. If you get a chance, please go over to my public page. It's called Porch Paint and Polypop on Facebook. Y'all know what Polypop is? I don't know about y'all, but back when we was little, we didn't call it Kool-Aid. It was Polypop. So anyway, Porch Paint and Polypop. Go over to my public page, and I'd be happy for you guys to join and to post any of your projects that you have, or highlight any other projects that someone else may have done. And take a look at Dorothy Lage. I think her last name is pronounced Lage. Take a look at the board that she did with just some of the remnants that I sent her and some of the other remnants that she had. I mean, it's just, it's beautiful, you know. So just, you can do a lot with just a little. So once you guys, when we pick a winner for a name for the winner who names this piece, you two will get some pieces that you can start to create with in your very own free gift in your Bud and Bloom bag, so that you can be unique. So yeah, so you guys be thinking about a name. And until next week, I thank you guys for joining me. I always thank you for your support. If you're looking for any of these items to use for yourself, go to my website, pecanporchboutique.com. Sonia, you said I wondered about Polypop. Yeah, Polypop. I mean, when we was growing up, you know, we drank Polypop. It was probably Kool-Aid, but child, we call that Polypop. So yeah, so that's where I got that name from. It reminds me of my childhood. Porch Paint and Polypop. So until next week, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys watching. Until we meet again, as we say on the porch, don't forget to bud, bloom, and be unique. Good night, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.